granite. This is just like making pasta in the old country. This is a really good surface to make pasta on. It's also a really good surface to make regular pastry crust. But the whole idea is you start out, you make your volcano. The volcano is made with 6 scant cups of flour and 5 eggs, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and about a cup of water. But a cup of water really just depends on exactly how things are happening. Because sometimes it takes a little bit more water and sometimes it takes a little bit less. And see, you form your nice crater, 5 eggs. Okay, it's not a cup to a cup, because you get a little bit too much in there and you don't want your pasta dough to be really hard. Count yolks. And number 6.
In the meantime, when Mike's getting the pasta dough ready, I'm going to get our filling ready, which is a pound of ground veal, a pound of ground pork, and a pound of ground round. To this, I will add some Parmesan cheese, some chopped parsley and garlic, and a couple of cups of chopped spinach.
2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And we begin to just mix this very gently. And you can see that what begins to happen is the eggs start pulling in the flour. And they're going to start making a thicker and thicker dough here. And eventually what you'll have is a complete unified ball. But it takes a little bit of elbow grease to get to that point. Keep supporting the wall of your volcano. And pretty soon your volcano is going to begin to disappear. Okay, this whole process takes a little water and a continual stirring. You basically know what's happening because you're beginning to build a bigger and bigger glob of dough. And you can see it's a smooth dough. You can tell this is not pasta yet. We're picking up the dry flour and incorporating more and more into the center where the pasta dough is forming. Back to the volcano here, when you see that this has reached the point where it can stand up on its own, it's like a really thick pancake dough, then you have done enough mixing with your fork, you've incorporated enough flour that you can just start bringing the whole thing together. It's really messy, but all you have to begin to do is to knead the wet mixture into the dry flour until it starts incorporating into a really nice firm ball, and then start kneading it just like you do with bread dough so that you can keep your consistency nice and smooth. There should be enough moisture from the water and the olive oil to pick up all of this flour, and the stiffer it is, the less likely your pasta is going to fall apart in that hot water when you begin to cook your ravioli. This is the secret to making sure that you get nice pies when you serve your ravioli.
To the spinach mixture, I have now added the meat. The pound of ground round, the pound of ground veal, and the pound of ground pork. Also to this, I'm going to add about a half a cup or so chopped Italian parsley and about 3-4 cloves of garlic, olive oil, and then to that mixture we will add at least a cup of grated Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Get your hands in there and start mixing. You can't do this with anything else but your hands. You have to get them in there and get it going.
So that nice volcano has all been absorbed into a big lump of dough. I've kept adding water to it. You just have to get it to the consistency that feels right in your hand. And then you have to begin to knead this. No different than you knead bread dough. Because this is what makes your pasta dough nice and smooth. No lumps. Everything incorporated. And the reason why this granite is so nice is because the pasta doesn't stick to the granite.
And then we're going to add at least a cup of just plain breadcrumbs. That's it. And continue with your mixing. Okay, now to the meat mixture, we are going to add our 14 eggs. Now that you have your 14 eggs in the meat mixture, now you may have to add a little more salt and pepper to this and a little more grated Parmesan, but wait until after it's all done, give it a taste, and then make that decision.
So we cut off a nice piece of dough, not too big, not too small, and we start out with the widest space available here. And we start to roll. And it gets a little tight rolling. And we throw on some more flour because as this thing goes through, it gets stickier and stickier. And we take it down 2 notches at a time. Keep rolling it to the second to the last notch. And then
So you put this through for at least
so you get to the
5 or
second.
6?
It's about 4 times. So you get to the
about 4
second to the
times?
last one.
Okay.
And then we mark the halfway point.
Right.
Get some more flour
Flour
under
on
it.
that.
Right. And some more flour under it.
Underneath, yeah. Whoops.
And then we're going to start to fill. I want just a thin layer because if not, it's going to start mushing out the sides when you start pushing the ravioli pin, rolling pin, across here. So you want this to be able to push sideways and fill in all the pies. The really important thing is when you reach the end over there to make sure that you don't have too much and then the filling's got nowhere to go. This is too much.
We need to do, maybe we need one of those spreaders, you know, like one of those frosting spreaders.
I have a flat spoon.
Yeah, that was better than this one. Don't touch. Just data, girl.
Yeah, it's
You did good. You're doing very good.
okay. Here it comes.
We come in contact with it. Okay.
I think I just marked the wrong place. This is going to end up another piece of pasta over. And we seal one side with our fingertips like this. And then we stretch this side over to make sure that we can seal pasta against pasta. And that'll keep your filling inside.
One more flour.
In between. Thing. Keep the flour going on here because this is wet pasta. And then we put down our ravioli pin, measure it out to the end, and press the entire way. And the more pressure you put down on it, the better the ravioli pies look. And you can see how the filling's getting spread out. And
That's it.
it reaches the end. There it goes.
Now you take your cutters. Now get your cutters. Make a nice cut all the way down.
And you have to roll back and forth a lot.
Back and forth. You got to cut that dough nice. Cut and seal.
The dough is easy to cut through, but the spinach and the gristle from the meat is not always easy.
You take all of these ends. You put those here.
You done?
Now let's go the other way. You cut a little bit on the slant, back and forth. See? You try your best not to cut any of the dough open so that the meat comes out. Don't cut through. You just gotta make an edge. A little bit.
Flour your box a lot.
Well, we got a lot of flour. Your box should look somewhat like that. And start putting your ravioli in. So now you put your raviolis in this box with the flour. This is getting them prepared for the freezer. Okay. We'll take these, put them in the freezer. Let them set up real good. We'll wait till all the raviolis are done. Okay, the raviolis have been in the freezer for a couple of hours now. And what you want to do is you want to start the transfer process. All you want to do is take them out, put them into a freezer bag with all that flour. Zip them up good. Return them back to the freezer.
So now you've seen the entire process. You know everything that is done. You realize it's not really difficult. It is kind of time consuming. It's worth it once a year for a holiday treat. This recipe, of course, is based on a recipe that was carried over on the Nina da Pinta and the Santa Maria from Italy.
Circa 1904.
Been in the family for hundreds and hundreds of years. We think that this one came over with them because this is the oldest ravioli cutter that is possible. But nonetheless, this should inspire all of you to do this.
Our great
Get the family together, get the next generation, and make something worthwhile. Do you know, these things will cost a fortune if you buy them in the store.
And of course you realize that it is a two-person operation. He does need an assistant. Thank you very much.